Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. We might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, because they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh! Oh, God. Damn it, AD. I think you just need to find a gentle way.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have been required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive whether he can issue President's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would
can't?
Be a gross abuse
Oh,
of the presidential
it's a
pardon authority.
gross abuse of presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, Jamie Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, Jamie Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt. Or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
Jamie
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he get a
about
pardon
this.
also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that committee?
The seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. Are you going to condemn that pardon?
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people, commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One who, in fact, one drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold them.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators linking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Stably, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
At the end of the show, every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
I got my coffee, I got my keyboard, I got my mouse, and I still got a cough. But that doesn't matter. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we're going to talk about the smarmy prick from New York and lots of other stuff. And there's some articles and video and all kinds of stuff today. I almost have to fly through some stuff because I want to get to most of the video stuff because I need to do more of that. So we'll do our best to facilitate getting through my giant list. And then there's also extra articles and stuff that'll be in the links today. As you know, I drop all the links at the end of the show into the chat and into the description. If you miss it in the chat, you can always go back to the video on YouTube and click that little description thing, and it'll be near the top of my giant description of what I do here. So anyway, I am happy to see you, well, figuratively, and I hope you're happy to see me. Let's get this stuff going. There you go. No saying ain't that peculiar. What's going on in here? What please don't what? Oh, now seeing Purple Rain? Me? Are you talking to me? You talking to me? Huh? You talking to me? Anyway, before I get started, though, we already have a sponsor today. Gunfox61 dropped a Hamilton and an article. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. We'll definitely get to this one because, well, it's a wild one. We'll get to it very soon. And we're hoping that it's not. I hope that what I read you sent me here, Gunfox. I saw the press secretary mention this too. I hope that's not real, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. The way that money's spent in our government. That's foreshadowing for the rest of you. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody and get it going. First in the chat, Avocados Diablo gets the bell because you were first. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, JB's in the house, Somnambule Nation, Anon 1, 2, 3, is here. Good morning, also Vader 35, Johnny Boomer Tech's doing the work. Tack Alpaca's here. Good morning, also Simon Wilkins, Kara Soldier, and what is that? It? Why is this not scrolling any farther? Is that just because nobody's here yet? 16. Oh, there's only 16 people here. Well, that's because I click that button pretty quick, and it takes a while for people to get notifications. Maybe I should do this earlier. I don't know. Maybe I should do it the night before, but then I can't be in the same clothing because I don't know what I'm going to wear the next day. And as you can see, I'm in the same clothing in that picture as I'm wearing right here. That's because I do all this setup just before the show. So it's a catch-22. No, it's not a catch. What is it? Well, I suppose it could be considered a catch-22. I don't know if I can do it or not. I don't know. Maybe that's not quite. Who knows? Let's get this thing started. Who cares? By the way, if you want to sponsor the show, did you say do the Let's Go thing yet? By the way, did you share the stream, or at least just reply to the stream thing that I do in the stream? And looks like some of you have done that. Oh, wait, what the hell's that? Oh, I see. That's the wrong page. Let's go to this side, notifications. All right, got some thank yous already. So here we go. Thanks for people who have tweeted out the show already. Of course, Somnambule Nation did that thing, as always. In fact, I'm going to retweet you right now. I always forget to do that. There, repost you. Also, Jay Blizza, JB, did a Ninja Let's Go. That's well, I suppose depending on who you're asking, if that is ominous or if that feels like the heroes are coming to save you. I don't know. Also, thank you, Simon Wilkins. Did your own tweet of the show. I'll do that one too. There we go. Oh, repost. Oh, what did I do? Whoops, that's a mistake. And then also, Somnambule Nation. Yeah, let's go. I'm ready, I guess. Why not? Okay. I don't feel the enthusiasm there. Also, thank you, Reaccion Puerto Rico. with a little Pat Morita looking at you side-eyed. Let's go. Also, Ty Alexander with the "Let's Get It On." What's that referee's name? And I know that's not really him, but Miles Lane, is that his name? That the referee that used to say, "Let's get it on." Anyway. And then Mike Savage, thank you for the let us go. Also, a couple people showed up. Reaction Puerto Rico's here, and my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony. Awesome. Nice to have you. Oh, and JB. Did I say JB earlier? You were here earlier. Never mind. So let's just get into it because there's a lot to talk about. I'm just saying. And we're going to go through this as quickly as possible. First of all, happy Hump Day. Hump Day. Mills Lane, not Miles Lane. Mills Lane, yeah, he's the judge. And not only is he a boxing judge, but he was an actual judge too. Did you know that? How many of you knew that he was an actual judge, not just a boxing referee? Anyway, all right, happy Hump Day. Here's I was going to do this. This one's funny. I'll put one of the Hump Day posts up here. When she did her hair, makeup, and spent $200 on lingerie just to see me stand at the end of the bed like this. That's actually kind of funny. And then there's another one, Hump Day, where the dog here, I'm not sure what this is. It says, this doggo didn't want to be caught stealing food. The cat had other ideas. Have a good Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. So here's the, let's see here. Well, I don't want to play the music. So here's the dog. Must have known. Why is this not? There we go. Looking up there, sees the camera and said, forget it. The cat's like, who cares? I'm going to get busted. It doesn't matter. Here I go. I'm going to steal food off the counter. So anyway, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Let's get into some news because I'm going to get Gunfox started out right away. Since you put a Hamilton, if you drop a Hamilton in an article, you can hijack the show, which Gunfox has successfully done. Now, he did it after the show yesterday, but this is a fascinating article. So, as you may have known, Donald Trump froze some spending yesterday, and I'm going to talk about that a little more in a little more detail later, but people were losing their minds about certain things, and some of it was misinformation, and a lot of it was intentional disinformation by all the Democrat shills trying to scare the bejesus out of old people. And I know one particular old person in particular who is very MSNBC centered and gets so freaked out about all the stuff, that they could be losing because Donald Trump's an evil bastard, right? And most of it is not true, especially since this person is in their 80s. There's none of these programs that benefit people are not going to be cut, but they're convinced they are, that Donald Trump's is going to take everything away from everybody. Well, among those things, however, that were we think they're real, we'll see. And this is the article that Gunfox gave me. Trump administration halts $50 million earmarked by Biden for condoms in Gaza. Now, I want to say, now again, you see, this is not the Bee, so it's not the Babylon Bee, but it's their actual news outlet called Not the Bee. And they say this is not satire. Press secretary during this pause, Doge and OMB found that there was about to be $50 million in taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza, which would be a preposterous waste of money. Here's the clip.
More time to plan for the fact that they are about to lose, in some cases, really crucial federal funding.
Crucial federal funding.
There was notice. It was the executive order that the president signed. There's also a freeze on hiring, as you know, a regulatory freeze, and there's also a freeze on foreign aid. And this is, again, incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working, and their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, DOJ and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. DOJ and OMB also found that there was about to be $50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good stewards of tax dollars.
Okay, so now some people saying that she's wrong there, but let's just read the rest of the article. Now, you may be thinking, this is the part where I say I was joking and this is actually the Babylon Bee. But no. This is a while back from, let's see, breaking. State Department pulls millions in funding for condoms in Gaza as Trump looks to trim spending. Even worse, Hamas is confiscating the condoms and inflating them with helium to use them as balloons that drop bombs on Israel. This sounds hilarious. Like, this sounds unreal. The Jerusalem Post reported that in 2020, that scores of condoms were being used to create IED-carrying balloons that winds would carry into southern Israel, raising alarm on schoolyards, farmlands, and highways. At the time, the Post reported that the improvised explosive devices floated into Israel via inflated contraceptives, burned thousands of however you say that, hectares. Hey, is there, I don't even know, can someone phonetically spell hectares for me, of land, and caused millions of shekels of damage. It's not clear if the practice continues. And I just like, wait a minute. And Elon Musk tweeted, my guess is that a lot of that money ended up in the pockets of Hamas and not actually condoms. Oh, you think? Apparently, so this major tax dollars are going to contraceptives and terrorism. Now, for extra context, here is how much USAID spent on contraceptives for people in other countries in 2023. And they have this chart here. Fiscal year 2021, contraceptive implants. Is this in thousands? Or is this in millions? No, this is in, okay, that's a raw number. 39,036,174 or 36,174 in 21. In 22, 53,618,000. In 23, 60,787,000. And that, I mean, they've been raising it every year. So now, someone says next time let's collaborate with, next time let's collaborate with Israelis. They have a contraceptive that works insanely well and kills terrorists. That's the pagers. Oh no. Oh my God, that's terrible. Anyway, so I want to see, let's check this out. I want to see if this article is actually functional. Here it is. State Department pulls millions in funding for condoms in Gaza as Trump administration looks to trim spending. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's decision to freeze foreign aid over the weekend include pulling millions of dollars worth of U.S. funding for condoms in Gaza, a White House official told Fox News Digital. The revelation came as the official explained that a separate memo from the Office of Management and Budget will temporarily pause grants, loans, and federal assistance programs pending a review into whether funding coincides with President Trump's executive orders, such as those related to ending diversity, equity, and inclusion, the Green New Deal, and funding of non-governmental organizations that undermine the national interest. Now, if the activity is not in conflict with the president's priorities, it will continue with no issues, the White House officials told Fox News Digital. This is similar to how HHS, the Department of Health and Human Services, stopped the flow of grant money to the WHO after President Trump announced a U.S. withdrawal from the organization, or how the State Department halted several $1 million going to condoms in Gaza over the past weekend. Is that real? I'm just like, are you serious? And then they mentioned that Press Secretary Karoline Levitt mentioned that during the briefing yesterday. So that's wild. I don't even hectare rhymes with deck chairs. Hectares. Okay, thank you. Thank you, hectares. Appreciate it. I always wonder about that. Good morning, by the way. John is back. Nice to have you. Is that our old John or new John? Also, Tyre Alexander, the Scourge, is here. Good morning. All right. Hectares. I always think acres and hectares and whatever, but it's hectares, and it's like 2.5. Is it 2.5 acres roughly? I think something like that. Someone said it. 2.4 acres. Close enough. 10,000 square meters. Gotcha. All right. So little what do you call it? Weights and measures lesson for you there. All right. Other things that are in the news breaking. One here. Apparently a man with Molotov cocktails was arrested on Capitol Hill in a murder plot against Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Wow. Hello, Midnight Exile. And number one. Massachusetts resident has been taken into custody of the U.S. Capitol after allegedly intending to assassinate Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, according to court documents. Ryan Michael Riley English approached Capitol Police on Monday afternoon, voluntarily surrendering himself and stating his possession of weapons, including Molotov cocktails and a knife. The English reportedly had planned to target Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and House Speaker Mike Johnson. However, his focus shifted to Bessent after learning about the Senate's vote on Bessent's nomination as Treasury Secretary. English's arrest occurred approximately 3 hours before Bessent's appointment was confirmed. In the affidavit filed in federal court, English claimed he considered attacking Bessent by throwing Molotov cocktails or stabbing him if the opportunity arose. The affidavit outlined the discovery of 2 Molotov cocktails constructed from vodka bottles and cloth wicks soaked in hand sanitizer and additional weapons during the search conducted by officers. So, yeah, more. Now, did anyone hear about this in the national news at all? Or, did this trend that someone's going to try to assassinate somebody? Did anyone catch that? I don't remember seeing that in the news. This is in obviously right-wing media. I'm curious. I wish I should probably get that ground news just to see what things are being reported. Now, also, let's see, where's this? Oh, in the New York Post, excuse me. This was probably not the expected reaction to some of the ICE raids, but apparently New York City's minority communities are cheering ICE raids that rounded up violent criminal migrants, with people saying, get them the hell off the street. Oh my goodness. New York City residents in Hispanic and Black communities that supported President Trump in huge numbers in the 2024 election hailed Tuesday's local immigration raids that nabbed scores of suspended heinous criminals. Starting in the Bronx, where Trump support surged 35% between 2020 and 2024, heavily armed federal immigration agents stormed through the cities, targeting migrants with warrants for murder, kidnapping, and other heinous crimes, according to police sources. Among those arrested was Anderson Zambrano Pacheco, 25, an alleged ringleader of the notorious Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua, whom immigration officers took into custody at the Ogden Avenue apartment in the Bronx. Oh, thank God they got him, said a resident who lives near the complex, visibly relieved that the violent thug was taken off the streets. Elsewhere in the borough, locals expressed similar sentiments. So this is not what Kathy Hochul was thinking was going to happen. I thought everyone would be mad and shit. Well, the people who are tired of all this nonsense are saying, yeah, get them the hell out of here. So there you go. In the national, oh, by the way, apparently there is, what would you call this? A transgender militant group of, well, they're calling them a terrorist group, a transgender terrorist group. Did you hear about this? This is crazy. So remember the Border Patrol agent that was killed in Vermont? Border Patrol officers' killing by transgender duo was a possible act of terrorism. The two individuals suspected of the shooting death of a U.S. Border Patrol officer near the Canadian border in Vermont last week are believed to be tied to a transgender militant group. That sounds wild. Good morning, Unacceptable Views, my other favorite Canadian. Teresa Milo Youngblood and Felix Ophelia Bacholt were stopped by the Border Patrol officer along Interstate 91 in Coventry, Vermont, with the officer and Bacholt, a German national, subsequently dying from wounds received in a shootout. The revelation is raising concerns about a possible trans-terror cell operating domestically in the U.S. I mean, it is weird that we're starting to get all these crimes committed by trans people. Couples, there was like 3 or 4 different mass shootings, and now a Border Patrol agent that was murdered. Surveillance of the pair began when staff at a motel in Lyndonville, Vermont, reported their suspicious behavior, noting tactical clothing and weapons. Law enforcement asserts that Bacholt was armed during the confrontation and was fatally shot after attempting to use his weapon. Now, wait a minute. Bacholt, Felix Ophelia Bacholt. I don't know if they misgendered Ophelia or not. A search of their vehicle revealed an arsenal, including weapons, ammunition, and electronic devices wrapped in foil. The discovery of this cache has amplified concerns about alleged connection to a Vallejo, California-based trans commune led by someone named Ziz, also known as Jack Lasota. Authorities uncovered links suggesting that Bacholt might have been in contact with members of this group. The commune has allegedly engaged in violent acts in the past. So there's a terror cell of transgender people. Also, by the way, Bacholt, a German national, was living in the U.S. on an H-1B visa. Bacholt, described by acquaintance as a youth math prodigy, worked as a quantitative trader in New York after graduating from the University of Waterloo in Canada. Meanwhile, Youngblood, identified with neopronouns, don't give a shit, has been charged with using a deadly weapon and discharging a firearm during the assault that killed Agent David Malin, an Air Force veteran, and then being treated at a medical facility in New Hampshire. Youngblood awaits her initial court appearance. So, Youngblood, wait a minute. But they uses Teresa Milo Youngblood uses neopronoun. Man, this whole mental health thing is starting to show up in droves. So who knows? All right. Good morning, Woo, my dear friend from high school. Now what studios in the house? Good morning, P-Dog. What weapon was Ophelia using? Don't want to know. Just don't want to know. Sorry, I don't want to know. All right. Quick odds and ends. The Federal Open Markets Committee meets today. We'll find out if there's going to be some rate changes. It's trending on X. Someone says FOMC day to day, market on edge about whether or not we'll see a rate cut or not. But Trump was very clear. Let's see if Powell follows his own plan or caves to pressure from the White House. Well, what do you mean caves to pressure from the White House? Let's see what they're saying that's Trump's plan.
The interest rates will come down.
You said that you would demand that the interest rates come down.
Well, I would put in a strong statement.
Do you expect the Fed to listen to you?
Yeah.
Do you expect the Fed to listen to you? Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's who knows? Other people say, let's see, Trump has demanded that the Fed continue cutting interest rates, but there's a 98% chance the Fed ignores his demands today. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see. All right, other things. Jim Acosta is out at CNN. Now, let's see. There's a couple things here. First, Jim Acosta himself says, today was my last at CNN. Closing message is never a good time to bow down to a tyrant. Don't give into the lies. Don't give in. Here's Jim Acosta, everyone's favorite media lolcow. Oh, I suppose I should put that on this screen. There we go. Here it is.
I just wanted to end today's show by thanking all of the wonderful people who work behind
Nobody
the
likes
scenes
you.
at this
Nobody
network.
likes you, Jim.
Some reports about me.
Nobody likes Jim Acosta.
And
oh, except for Joe Walsh. You know, not the good Joe, not that Joe Walsh, the other Joe Walsh.
Show. And after giving all of this some careful consideration and weighing an alternative time slot CNN offered me,
I'm going to have a hissy fit and quit and go to Substack. Oh, sorry. Am I stealing your thunder, Jim? Sorry.
I've decided to move on.
Good.
I am grateful to CNN for the nearly 18
Let's
years
see
I've spent here.
How many
doing
people
the news.
follow him?
People often ask me if the highlight of my career at CNN was at the White House covering Donald Trump. Actually, no.
No, Jim. It's the only reason people know your name, because you made an ass of yourself at the White House on the daily. That's the only reason people know your name. That's the only reason why people on the left like you. And it's the only reason that people on the right mention your name, because you're a jackass too. And I always say Trump's a jackass, but he's the jackass we need. Jim Acosta's the jackass that we don't need.
That moment came here when I covered former President Barack Obama.
Oh, you mean when you slobbered on his leg as you were sniffing his butt?
To Cuba in 2016 and had the chance to question the dictator there, Raul Castro, about the island's political prisoners. As the son of a Cuban refugee.
Now, honestly, I will give Jim that highlight. That was brave of him, because they were in Cuba and he didn't have to get out.
I took home this lesson. It is never a good time to bow down to a tyrant. I've always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here.
You didn't do that during the last 4 years, Jim. You disappeared. Good God.
At CNN. And I plan on doing all of that in the future.
On your own.
One final message.
At Substack.
Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear.
Okay.
Hold on to the truth.
The fear that you constantly monger. And
Even if
change.
you have to get out your phone, record that message. I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear. Post it on your social media so people can hear from you too. I'll have more to say about my plans in the coming days, but until then, I want to thank all of you for...
Okay, enough. You get to say thank you. Now, he did post something else. Is it in here somewhere? Oh, here it is. So here's what Jim's going to be doing. This is it almost borders on pathetic, because no one's going to hire him, I don't think. I mean, he can't go to News Nation, where they kind of try to stay in the middle of things. Jim Acosta's a partisan through and through. Okay, and he's made it obvious over 4 years. Here's what Jim's going to be doing.
Hey guys.
Hi, Jim.
It's Jim.
Hi.
And let me just say this: I've had quite the day.
Oh, I'm
and
sure
as
you
can
have,
see,
Jim.
Earlier today, this was my last day.
He's putting on a happy face because he knows he just blew it. He still had a time slot at midnight on This Is CNN, and he decided to quit in a hissy fit. Sorry, Jim.
At CNN, and I did want to jump on Substack Live here for a moment and say, welcome to my new venture. I'm going independent.
Oh, wow. I'm sure everyone's just waiting with bated breath.
At least for now. This is just the beginning, but I wanted to invite you to join me here on this platform.
Nah.
Talk about the day's news,
only to
talk
laugh
about
at
politics and so on. And I do want to, and just in case you missed my closing message earlier.
No, Jim, nobody missed it that wanted to see it, because nobody was watching anyway. So I should say everybody missed it, because no one was watching CNN.
Earlier in the day, don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to fear.
The fear you
Hold
constantly
on to the
monger.
truth. And
this is the same shit he said on CNN, isn't it? By the way, good morning, amazing disgrace is in the house.
Hope. And we'll keep this conversation going. Great to see all of you here.
Nah.
We'll talk some more soon.
Now, what are the odds that, so he's going to kind of go to the road of Don Lemon and, lots of other people have left. And there's some people who've been very successful leaving the main media. I would say Tucker Carlson obviously has done well. Even Lemon hasn't done terrible, but to have only 500,000, or he has 400,000 subscribers, which is probably slightly more than anyone ever saw him on CNN, but still, that's pretty pathetic. I'm going to guess Jim Acosta might get half of what Don Lemon had, but we'll see. It's very interesting to see that happening. All right, let's keep going here. United Way is trending, and I think because someone had posted how. Oh, by the way, they're also concerned about this pause in federal funding because apparently the United Way gets a lot of money from the U.S. government too. We are deeply concerned about the recent announcement issuing a pause in federal funding. Now, it isn't a pause in federal funding. It's a pause in discretionary like grant programs and things like that. Like, for example, like funding of actual things like Medicare, Medicaid, all those things, government programs, direct payment programs. None of those are being paused. Although, if you listen to the smarmy prick from New York, as I'll show you later, he makes it sound like that Donald Trump just shut down, Meals on Wheels and shit, which did not happen. But anyway, so their statement that they made here, we are deeply concerned about the recent announcement issuing a pause in federal funding. It will have an immediate and a devastating effect or impact on vulnerable individuals in our community, the nonprofits dedicated to serving them every day, and state and local government providing social services, safety net programs, along with capital and transportation projects. Okay, this is false. Half of it is. Now, they are pausing or putting a freeze on some federal funding of nonprofit organizations that the federal government funds because apparently just before Donald Trump came in office, a lot of the federal agencies decided to do a giant money dump in a bunch of these their favorite organizations that they were worried were not going to get funding anymore under Donald Trump. So lots of like Green New Deal shit and a bunch of different organizations that are often just federal money laundering operations. I'm saying that in a somewhat tongue-in-cheek way, but also it's kind of true. So then they said here, nonprofits play a vital role in fostering resilience and opportunity, often in partnership with state and local governments. Well, if you're nonprofits, get some people to donate to your shit and stop taking federal money. Sudden and unclear changes jeopardize not only their operations, but also the well-being of countless individuals and families. Now remember, a lot of these nonprofit organizations, they get tons of money from the federal government, from the state. But then what are the results you're getting? Let's take an example in California, all these nonprofits that are supposed to be helping homeless people. And the more money they get, it seems like the more homeless people there are, because like the homeless population just ballooned crazily over the last 10 years. But the nonprofits have been getting millions and even billions of dollars from government entities, and no one knows where the money's going. But the people who lead those nonprofits sure get some nice salaries, though. So that's why they're taking a look at how the federal agencies are funding different nonprofits, and are they in line with what the some of the new executive orders that the administration has put out regarding certain types of activities. So. Now, also, the reason the United Way is trending is someone put out an interesting little graph here. This is, here it is, Data Republican or something like that. What the actual F, this graph of donations between United Way chapters. Yes, you read that right. These are entirely United Way chapters donating to each other. Instead, I had to cap it. So here... This is an example how all these little blue dots in here are different United Way agencies, and the lines here represent them donating to each other. So a lot of times, if the federal government is funding some of the United Way agencies, these agencies basically just send money to other agencies to do things. Who knows what they're really doing? The United Way, if you're going to donate to a charity, donate directly. Don't use the United Way to funnel money to a charity. You're just paying for middlemen. But anyway, that's fascinating. So here's, for example, the United Way of Greater Milwaukee. Gross receipts, $60 million and a half, whatever. Government grants received, $5 million direct, $632,000 indirect. Contributions received, $50 million. Grants given, $3.9 to 2 million. So they've taken in all that money, but their grants given are amount to 3 million. We're looking at, what is this? $115 million they've received. They've given out grants of 3 million, just under 4 million. But they have also sent all money to all these other United Way groups. So what? Anyway, that's in the links today. You'll see it. Other things trending, Tiffany Hayward. You know, have you heard of Dalton, Illinois Mayor Tiffany Hayward? She's the one who's basically been using the funds of the city of Dalton as her personal playground. Well, apparently, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Hayward and her boyfriend got into a fight during a council meeting, and she came off the bench with the flying elbow. I'm not going to play the video, but it's pretty. If you haven't been following the saga of Tiffany Hayward, there it is. These are people fighting during the city council meeting, and there's her red hair. She jumped into the fight because people were talking shit about her, which she deserves it, and she's probably going to be in jail soon anyway. So anyway, if you want to see more information on that, that's also trending. Let's see what here. Let's move on. General Mark Milley's trending. Apparently, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has revoked General Mark Milley's security detail and security clearance. Hegseth is now planning on demoting the general. Hegseth also ordered the removal of all Pentagon portraits of Milley. So this is a total humiliation for Mark Milley in a way. Now, if you're wondering why Mark Milley is maybe deserving of some of this stuff, well, let's just remember this 60 Minutes clip. So here, someone named Mays here says, Mark Milley claims he wrote a resignation letter to Trump in June of 2020, but never submitted it. Instead, the weasel stayed on and tried to subvert Trump from the inside. Milley shared his letter with 60 Minutes in an interview in 2023. In it, he accused Trump of destroying the international order. Then this scumbag, that's the editorial comment, went behind President Trump's back to deal with China and oversaw the disastrous Afghan withdrawal. He's been asked to resign for both of those, but he would rather just read this angry little letter on 60 Minutes than man up. So let's see. Is this the letter? Let's put it this way. Mark Milley more than once has admitted that he violated the chain of command and did a back channel with China. Okay, that alone, in some people's eyes, would be considered treason. Okay, and especially when you're a general and you are doing that behind the commander in chief. So anyway, here, what is this? Let's see what this is on 60 Minutes here.
In which you said to the president, it is my deeply held belief that you are ruining the international order, causing significant damage to our country overseas that was fought so hard by the greatest generation in 1945. That generation has fought against fascism, has fought against Nazism, has fought against extremism. It's now obvious to me that you don't understand that world order. You don't think Donald Trump
The world order? I'm sorry. I don't recall General Milley being elected to determine the future of the United States. He's a subordinate to the President of the United States. Now, maybe he was thinking he was giving advice or something, but that's an interesting letter right there.
Understood what World War II was fought over?
I don't know what former President Trump understood about World War II or anything else. I can tell you that from 1914 to 1945, 150 million people or thereabouts were slaughtered in the conduct of Great Power War. And in 1945, the United States took the initiative and drafted up a set of rules that govern the world to this day. Those rules are under stress internationally. President Putin is a direct frontal assault on those rules.
Oh, so is he saying that Trump is in with Putin?
China is trying to revise those rules to their own benefit.
But that's one thing to say that China is threatening that world order and Russia is threatening that world order. To say that the commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, was ruining the international order and causing significant damage, What did you...
How so? Because he surely kept him in check. Did Russia start their war in Ukraine under Donald Trump? That seemed to... Because honestly, during the Biden administration, that seemed to change some of the world order, and then all of a sudden we're giving Ukraine shit tons of money to keep that shit going. Oh, I'm sorry, to keep Raytheon going. But I don't know. What are you talking about?
See that caused you to write that?
I would say that...
It's got to be more than walking into Lafayette Square in uniform.
There was a wide variety of initiatives that were ongoing. One of them, of course, was withdrawing troops out of NATO. Those were initiatives that placed at risk.
Withdrawing troops out of NATO? You mean asking NATO to step up in their commitments to helping be part of the defense of NATO? What is he talking about? All right, this is obviously not the clip where he admitted he went behind Trump's back. But anyway, that's why Milley is getting... Oh, by the way, also, Milley has accepted a pardon from Joe Biden. Now, if you go by Supreme Court precedent, we talked about this, the 1915 decision saying where if you accept a pardon, then you are also admitting your guilt in a crime. Well, General Mark Milley accepted a pardon from Joseph Rahim Biden. So it seems to me like he committed a crime. He's admitting he committed a crime by accepting that pardon. Let's see, something wrong with one of these photos. Notice how bemedaled Milley's chest is compared to Patton's. Patton, who wasn't shy about wearing his medals, campaigns badges, fought 2 world wars. You think Milley had fought in 3 world wars compared to Patton? Yeah. And let's see. And also, he likes to call Trump a wannabe dictator. But let's see. Is there someone, Defense Secretary Pete revoked white rage General Mark Milley's security detail and security clearance and is going to demote him. Icing on the cake has ordered the removal of all Pentagon portraits. So anyway, that's in the news and everyone's talking about that shit. Moving on, United Way, which I already did. Why is there 2 United Ways in here? I don't know. We'll skip that. Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. are trending because their confirmation hearings are just about to happen this week. And that should be a complete shit show in the Senate. But some people are saying this is why Tulsi must be confirmed as the next director of national intelligence. All biological labs must be shut down. Mitt Romney called me a treasonous liar. Okay, here's Tulsi Gabbard. This is...
To call me a treasonous liar was saying, hey, there are U.S.-funded, DOD-funded biolabs in Ukraine.
Turned out to be true.
That should be secured because there's a war going on over there, and the last thing we or the world needs is anything going on in those biolabs being unleashed in a way that could pose a threat
the Russians
to people
or the Ukrainians.
That was seen as...
but I should just say you weren't guessing.
No.
You got that. It was confirmed in any case in a public exchange in the Senate between Marco Rubio of Florida, the sitting Republican senator, and Victoria Nuland, the Undersecretary of State, who volunteered it on camera.
Yes.
So...
And it was on the DOD website talking about their long history.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to leave that. But that's... But apparently people are not happy with Tulsi Gabbard. Now, here's one here. To Republican senators and tribalism politics. This is not a warning. It is a direct threat. If you vote against RFK Jr. or Tulsi Gabbard, MAHA will mobilize and you will be out of a job come the next election. The gloves are off. I, along with hundreds of thousands in the Make America Healthy Again movement, will make it our mission to ensure you never serve as a Republican senator again. This is not political tribalism. Your constituents have spoken. The majority support RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and what they stand for. Your duty is to them, not your donors. The world will be watching these hearings and how each senator votes thereafter. So there you go. All right, so there it is. Now, that's interesting. Thank you, Gunfox61. Oh, no, that's not Gunfox. Avocados Diablo putting a small bowl in the tip jar saying, speaking of pardons, have you seen the 2 death row inmates that are refusing the commutations they got from Biden. No, I did not see that. No, I didn't. Wow, I had not heard that. We'll have to look that one up. We'll have to look that up. So anyway, that's why Tulsi and RFK is also trending. And lots of people are rooting for RFK Jr. too. Billionaire Nicole Shanahan vows to fund primary challenges of 13 specific U.S. senators who don't support RFK's nomination confirmation and calls them out by name. Good. Wait, what? Billionaire Nicole Shanahan? Why is she a billionaire? And what does she do? I'm curious. Anyone know who this is? Here, let's see what this one is.
Hey everyone, tomorrow is a pivotal moment in our nation's history. At 10 a.m. Eastern Time, RFK will sit in front of the Senate Finance Committee
right now
for his confirmation hearing to be our nation's next Secretary of Health and Human Services. I urge everyone to call their U.S. senators over the following days and demand they vote yes on Bobby's nomination.
Is this Nicole Shanahan?
He is more than qualified. He's proven, principled, and prepared to lead. I'll share a list below of key senators. If they represent your state, they need to hear from you. If they don't, please call your own senator and ask them to vote yes. We need as many votes as we can get. So this hasn't been widely reported, but in 2020, I cut large checks to Chuck Schumer to help Democrats.
Chuck Schumer, the smarmy prick from New York.
From red to blue. The two candidates I helped elect.
Okay. Thank you, Sound of a Nation.
And Senator John Ossoff. Please know I will be watching your votes very closely. I will make it my personal mission that you lose your seats in the Senate if you vote against the future health of America's children.
She's threatening Democrat senators.
And more than that, I also want to say to Senators Mitch McConnell, Lindsey
the
Graham,
turtle.
Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Bill Cassidy, Tom Tillis, James Langford, Cory Booker, John Fetterman, Bernie Sanders, and Catherine Cortez Masto. This is a bipartisan message, and it comes directly from me. While Bobby may be willing to play nice, I won't. If you vote against him, I will personally fund challengers to primary you in your next election, and I will enlist hundreds of thousands to join me. Big Pharma and Big Ag have exploited us for far too long. It ends now.
True.
You're either on the side of transparency and accountability, or you are standing in the way. The choice is yours. Please choose wisely.
OnlyFans? No, she's not an OnlyFans. Jesus Christ, you guys, that's terrible. All right. So anyway, she vows to her mission to screw you guys over if you fuck with RFK Jr. So anyway, one of the reasons they don't want to confirm RFK Jr. is because the processed food industry is a $100 billion industry. In 2023, they spent almost $38 million on lobby money. I bet they spent more than that. 38 million, that's paltry. I doubt it. It's that low. So anyway, that's interesting. By the way, also, there are people who are ripping on RFK Jr., including his cousin Caroline Kennedy, who called her cousin RFK Jr. a predator, which apparently clearly there's no sense of irony there, considering isn't she Ted's kid? Isn't she Ted Kennedy Jr.'s kid? Or she's something. I don't know. So some people here, let's see, what's this one say? This JFK's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, posted a video mocking RFK's Jr. spasmodic dysphoria, a disabling neurological disorder. Family members attacking their own family says more about them than RFK Jr. Yeah, it does. So anyway, that's why those are trending. I got to keep going, though. Make America Healthy Again, also related to RFK Jr. Nancy May says, what does making America healthy again look like? No forced vaccinations, treating obesity as the epidemic it is, banning toxic chemicals in our food, exposing big pharma's crooked lobbying. Confirm RFK, our lives quite literally depend on it. So Nancy Mace is supporting RFK Jr. Look, I think he has some good ideas. I think truly the pharmaceutical industry, a lot of the food industry has a ton of power, and they, unfortunately we've allowed a lot of different things into our food that they don't allow in foods in other places around the world. Now, is it going to change? Is it going to change anything immediately? No, but I think if you look at policies, the other one, oh, by the way, the other one that they showed here, I saw the a graphic right here, how the immunization schedule has changed so much in the last years. Now, so here, from in utero to 12 months, it used to be you got DPT at 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, OPV at 2 and 4 months. Now you've got all these vaccinations that kids get now, and we have like four times as many vaccinations as they do in other developed countries. And there's got to be something to it it's got to be causing some kind of problems. You got to, I mean, I don't know how. If our kids are at least healthy, but they get the most vaccinations, you should be concerned. So anyway, also in the trending thing, apparently a California secession movement is going on right now. Did anyone hear about this? The California Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, has authorized a campaign to collect signatures for a ballot measure that would allow voters to decide on California's secession from the United States. What? This initiative, often referred to as CalExit, would need to gather enough signatures to appear on the 2028 ballot. The move has sparked a variety of reactions, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, breaking, California's Secretary of State Shirley Weber just gave the green light for a campaign to gather signatures for a vote on California leaving the United States and becoming an independent country, per Newsweek. Yes, you read that right. A secession is officially on the table in a nation where dysfunction has become the norm. California is flirting with the idea of cutting ties and going solo. Whether this gains traction or fizzles out, one thing is clear: cracks in this union aren't just showing, they're splitting wide open. I can't imagine. Now, attire, I approve. Fascinating. We'll watch that, but granted, there's would not be on the ballot till 2028. And if their Trump derangement hissy fit gets that big, it's funny because they always say, "Oh, California is the sixth largest economy in the world." Well, there's a lot of states in the United States that if you just pluck them out from the United States, they would be the same sixth largest county in the world. But a lot of people in Democrat circles like to say, "Oh yeah, see, the blue states, they're so wealthy and bring in so much money that they fund all the red states." Yeah, not so much. California definitely takes its huge share of federal money. But this is a crazy idea, and people are actually talking about it now. Someone here says, insurrection, any attempt to organize support for a secession, is a serious violation of the law. The California Secretary of State is engaged in conspiracy to commit insurrection, sedition, treason, and misuse of her public office. She swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, and her attempt to secede violates that oath. California Secretary of State Shirley Weber is spearheading an effort to secede from the United States, blatantly violating federal law and the Constitution. Her actions at rallies to rally support for secession amount to conspiracy to commit insurrection, sedition, treason, and abuse for public office. By attempting to dismantle the Union, she is in clear violation of the oath she swore to uphold, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. So, could this get her in trouble? Well, who knows? We'll find out. Moving on. Trump media is trending. Apparently, some places are comparing how the media treats things before and after Trump. So, for example, Time magazine, a while back, why ultra processed foods are bad for you. Okay, but now that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is up for HHS, what if ultra processed foods aren't as bad as you think? So they changed their tune based on who's in office. Let's see. And then apparently Trump Media, which is the parent company of Truth Social and things like that, apparently they're kind of going the way of X, where they're going to announce an expansion of it into financial technology with the launch of Truth Financial, focusing on investments in Bitcoin, similar cryptocurrencies, whatever. So they're getting into the cryptocurrency market. By the way, the app known as X, is also partnering with Visa to create payments within X and a payment system similar to PayPal, and partnering with Visa to do it. So that's fascinating. Let's see. So let's get into the funding freeze, because I wanted to get to a couple videos here. One of Chuck, the smarmy prick from New York, Schumer. So you probably heard about this kerfluffle about funding freeze. All day yesterday, I was watching people talking about how they're going to cut, they're freezing Medicaid payments. They're freezing Meals on Wheels. They're freezing money going to Head Start. They're going to take away your Social Security. They're taking away Medicare. And then some people responded by actually reading what they're doing. And it was all bullshit. They're trying to scare the shit out of you. So here's the synopsis. Funding freeze sparks controversy and clarifications. On January 28, 2025, President Trump issued an executive order temporarily pausing federal grants and loans for a review of agency programs. So, for example, different agencies within the federal government have programs where they give money to different organizations and gives out grants and whatever. The order caused a significant reaction, with Senator Chuck, the smarmy prick from New York, Schumer, publicly criticizing it as unlawful and harmful, suggesting it's affected funding for law enforcement and other essential services. However, clarification from Community Notes and other sources indicate that the order does not impact funding for law enforcement, military personnel, or public safety positions, contrary to what Schumer stated. So let's look at what Chuck, the smarmy prick Schumer, had to say about it. Here's Chuck Schumer.
Last night, President Trump plunged the country into chaos.
Did he? Oh, whoa, stop. Hold up. Chuck. Did you feel it? Did you feel the chaos that Donald Trump plunged the country into? I missed it. It took me a while. I got on X later yesterday afternoon and saw all these people talking about this. Oh, and there's that face next there, right there. That's Amy Klobuchar. Okay.
Plunged the country into chaos.
Chaos.
Without a shred of warning.
Without a shred of
Trump
warning.
administration announced a halt to virtually all federal funds across the country.
Lie. That is not what happened. But notice he says, and guess what? What's this designed to do? Designed to scare people. A halt to all federal funds across the country. Now that would be pretty extensive. That'd be like a government shutdown, right, Chuck? What are you? Interesting.
In an instant.
Donald
Trump has shut off billions, perhaps trillions of dollars that directly support states, cities, towns, schools, hospitals, small businesses, and most of all, American families.
Really, Chuck? Are you sure?
There's a dagger at the heart of the average American family in red states and blue states.
Whoa. The average American family? What does that even mean? I didn't feel it at all. I did not feel it at all.
He's in suburbs, in rural areas. It is just outrageous.
What did he cut off, Chuck?
Funds for things like disaster assistance, local law enforcement, rural hospitals, aid to the elderly, food for people in need. All are on the chopping block.
No, they're not. He just, oh boy, this is quite an announcement, Chuck. But let's
this new administration.
No.
Why? They need tax cuts for the ultra wealthy.
Oh, he's playing class warfare.
We'll fund them. Every one of our offices has been deluged with calls from people
because
we're in panic. What is this going to mean? What if I have a hospital that has people on life support?
They're gonna are they gonna pull them from life support because the funding might come down? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? This is like back when Bush was running for president. One of the times they had that ad where they had the lady in the wheelchair and they just rolled her off the cliff. This is what Chuck's doing. Holy shit.
What are we going to do?
You're going to let them
just like
die,
the January
Chuck.
6th pardons.
Oh, my
this
God.
decision is lawless, dangerous, destructive, cruel. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. I spoke to my Attorney General this morning. She's head of the
Your
State
Attorney
Attorneys
General?
Association.
Letitia James.
On a court right away on this horror.
Horror.
This.
The horror.
Plain and simple, this is Project 2025.
Oh, my God.
Project 2025 by another name.
The boogeyman.
They knew how unpopular Project 2025 was. But the right-wing ideologues are still in control. So they had to do it in a different way, but it has the same consequences.
Is it
and
now?
will have the same horrible, negative, overwhelming reaction from the American people.
All right, enough of Chuck the smarmy prick from New York, Schumer. Problem is, where is it? Chuck got community noted for this, and let's see if we can find that. Well, first of all, let's go right here. Breaking: Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer receives a fact check from Community Notes for lying about the funding for law enforcement potentially being at risk and blaming President Trump. Here, let's go back here. We'll go to this one here. So here is Chuck Schumer. Funding for law enforcement is now in danger thanks to Donald Trump, right? Well, the Community Note says the executive order states this order does not apply to military personnel of the armed forces or to positions related to immigrant enforcement, national security, or public safety. Now, that's not enough, though. Let's look at the note that people were putting out here. Let me see if I can find it, because here, let's look at this, because the executive office, President Office of Management and Budget put this out. Is this a freeze on benefits to Americans like SNAP, which is food assistance, or student loans? Answer: no. Any program that provides direct benefits to Americans, so Medicaid, Medicare, FACTS, Meals on Wheels, all this other stuff, that this has nothing to do with that stuff, provides direct benefits to Americans, is explicitly excluded from the pause and exempted from this review process. In addition, Social Security and Medicare already explicitly excluded in the guidance. Mandatory programs like Medicaid and SNAP will continue without pause. Funds for small businesses, farmers, Pell Grants, Head Start, rental assistance, and other similar programs will not be paused. If agencies are concerned that these programs may implicate the president's executive order, they should consult OMB to begin to unwind these objectionable policies without pause in payments. So, and part of the reason that this got kind of blown out of proportion is apparently, as is per government, the Medicaid website or whatever went down sometime this afternoon, right? Or excuse me, yesterday afternoon, as this executive order went out. So everyone's like, oh my God, they shut down Medicaid, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't. No. And so if you know anybody who is panicking because they're afraid that they're not going to get, some kind of government payment that's that's part of, mandatory funding. It's the same thing when they say they're going to shut down the government, right? They say they're going to shut down the government because the Republicans and Democrats can't get their shit together and pass actual funding bills, right? And so they say, oh my God, we're going to have a government shutdown in 7 days. Well, even though they do have that government shutdown, these programs don't shut down. The payments for these programs do not shut down. Now, some federal workers may get furloughed and certain things happen, but the direct payment stuff does not get shut down. They're basically they're almost immune to a government shutdown. Checks still go out. It's considered kind of like the essential workers had to go to work. Well, so does the essential payments from the federal government. They go. So this is crazy. And people were all day yesterday. Every freaking Democrat shill account that was screaming doom and gloom. See, they're going to take away your grandma's Meals on Wheels. They're going to cut Medicaid. People are going to die. It's all bullshit. Good morning, Gunfox, by the way. Gunfox61, the amazing administrator of the P-Dog Night server. Unselected boys in the house. And Resolute Germ, bookworm addict. Good to see you all here. By the way, thank you, Ty Alexander, dropping a $2.30 in the tip jar. Appreciate you. Who says OPM, office, is it OBM or office of something, is offering 7-month severance package for any government worker that doesn't want to work underneath Trump. Trump is trimming the fat and dead weight from the government with a masterful move. This will get the weeds out of the garden. Let's go. Yeah, I saw that. That is that's a big deal. So they're offering a 7-month, I think, isn't it? 7-month severance package for anyone who works in federal agencies if they want to leave the federal government and not work under Trump. And look, it would be awesome if a bunch of them took him up on it. You know, they have, well, there's supposed to be a dirge. Is it a dirge? There's like a ton of federal workers that probably don't do as much as, you know, you think. It's the federal government is just kind of made to perpetuate itself, and good, thin the herd, and just, you know, that probably save a lot of money. They're probably not very efficient because they just have a dearth, not a dirge. Thank you, Epicodus Diabli. I'm not always perfect with words. So anyway, a lot of people making fun of this, though. First it was eggs. Now it's Meals on Wheels. Democrats are completely lost. They have no idea how to respond to what's happening. None. Yeah, Chuck wrote, Meals on Wheels is now in danger thanks to Donald Trump. He was on a roll yesterday, and people were just making fun of him. Funding for law enforcement is now in danger thanks to Donald Trump. Basically, all these Democrats were talking about this all day yesterday. And then they got everyone basically posted that letter from the clarification from the OMB. And some of them still are talking about it today, and they didn't get the message. So let's see. So we got Chuck Schumer. Oh, and Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, had put this out too. So some of your governors were doing it. Governor Tim Walz. President Trump just shut off funding for law enforcement, farmers, schools, veterans, and health care. We are working diligently to reverse this, but we are preparing for every outcome to help Minnesotans weather this storm. Minnesota needs answers. We'll see Trump in court. So a bunch of Democrat governors were threatening lawsuits and whatnot. So someone says, let me get this straight. It's Trump's fault that Jake Tapper can't read, the media can't read, elected Democrats can't read, Democrats on social media can't read. So there's, let's look at a couple other people talking about this. So, for example, Jake Tapper on This Is CNN.
I was hearing from them directly. The executive order, Jake, the executive order was issued 7 days ago.
I understand that, but it was going when the word got out.
This is an OMB guidance document.
Right, exactly. And when that went out, people got it. And you
7 days ago,
Don Bacon saying he was worried. Yes. Now he's not, but he was worried that before school programs and after school programs in Nebraska were going to be affected.
I am sorry.
But you've clarified
it. I'm sorry that the media has falsely reported on this story.
I don't know what you're talking about in terms of false reports. It's a broadly written executive order, and there's...
No, you're conflating two different things.
Stephen,
an executive order was issued a week ago. There were some
Shut up, Jake!
Bureaucrats in the federal government who tried to push out money, billions of dollars, for wicked and pernicious purposes that had to be frozen. A guidance memo was written. OMB guidance memos are by their nature complicated to read because this involves the federal budget. The choice here is simple. It is very simple, and I want to state it clearly.
Okay.
Either Donald Trump
gets
political control over this government and ends the waste, abuse, and fraud on the American people, or we let bureaucrats autopilot federal spending. If we hadn't stepped in, then billions more dollars, as an example, would have gone to left-wing NGOs that fund and resettle illegal aliens and are complicit, in many cases, in facilitating child trafficking.
Okay,
so
this obviously
will never, ever apologize for defending the American taxpayer.
Obviously, nobody's in favor of child trafficking. Let's move on to immigration because
he wanted to change that subject really fast, didn't he? Anyway, yeah. So yeah, the fact that they, these federal agencies are using these. We're just giving out money to NGOs left and right for different things that the administration no longer supports. And these federal agencies are under the executive branch. So, you just, so apparently some people, here's a funny meme. You're going to need a bigger hoax because basically they got trapped into this one. Chuck Schumer, why should American citizens be responsible to pay $5 billion to fund the wall? Better question, why should American citizens be responsible to pay $155 billion annually to make sure illegals are taken better care of than American citizens? Okay, that has nothing to do with it. But also in the fray, Karoline Levitt, the new White House press secretary, I believe, is this the same subject? I don't know. She did a great job in her first press conference or press briefing, the White House press briefing. Let's see what she did here.
What they are.
You made a point of the worst first. They all have a criminal record.
And welcome to the
If they broke our nation's laws, yes.
Oh, this is regarding immigration. That's the wrong one. Let's see. Hang on a second. What is this one? Well, we'll just look at some examples here. This is not in the same topic, but
I'd like to see you here every day. How frequently will these press briefings be?
It is a good question, April. So look, the president, as you know, is incredibly accessible. First day here, he wanted all of you in the Oval Office. You got a 60-minute press conference with the leader of the free world while he was simultaneously signing executive orders. I may add that's pretty impressive. I don't think the previous office holder would be able to pull such a thing off. So look, the president is the best spokesperson that this White House has, and I can assure you that you will be hearing from both him and me as much as possible.
And then a question about tax cuts.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It's a good answer. Let's see. Here it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate White House in the first briefing? Which one's this one? Let's see. Hang on.
Signed. Country and America is back. Christian Daytop.
Thanks, Caroline. Just real quick, you mentioned the inflation executive order the president signed, but egg prices have skyrocketed since President Trump took office. So what specifically is he doing?
They went with egg prices as if nobody knows why. Like, none of these reporters know why egg prices went up. Well, she's going to explain it to them. Listen.
To lower those costs for Americans.
Really glad you brought this up, because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country.
Tell him.
We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration. As far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens.
100 million?
Which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage. So I will leave you with this point. This is an example of why it's so incredibly important that the Senate moves swiftly to confirm all of President Trump's nominees, including his nominee for the United States Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who is already speaking with Kevin Hassett, who's leading the economic team here at the White House, on how we can address the egg shortage in this country. As for costs, I laid out the plethora of ways that President Trump has addressed saving costs for the American people over the past week. He looks forward to continuing to doing that in the days ahead. Thank you.
Now, what's funny about this too, notice she doesn't have a big old book of notes like Kaylee, what's her name, Kaylee, whatever, that used to be this press secretary, or Karine Jean-Pierre. Apparently, Karoline Levitt has somewhat of a photographic memory, and some people have that, and so she can rattle stuff off the top of her head without notes. And she's going to be very capable. She's only 28 years old, too. She's very young. The youngest press secretary in U.S. history. Now, there's probably a couple more. Oh, here's a good one. This one, this is another good one. Let's do this one. Just some other clips.
So let me ask you a separate question about the confusion that still exists across the country right now as it relates to the freeze or the pause.
Okay, this is the one I wanted to do.
President Trump, of course, ran one of the key policy items was that he was going to lower prices, lower the cost of everything from groceries, as he often said. But in many of the cases, it would seem that some of these moves could raise prices for real Americans on everything from low-income heating, that program, child care programs. Will nothing that the president's doing here in terms of the freeze in these programs raise prices on ordinary Americans?
What particular actions are you referring to that would?
I'm referring to LHEAP right now. That's the low-income heating program, for example. We can talk about. There's no clarity, so I could refer to a lot of them. We don't know what
there was clarity.
Can you tell us that LHEAP,
You just missed it.
YEAH is not one of those affected?
So you're asking a hypothetical based on programs that you can't even identify. What I can tell you is
Let's do it together just for Americans at home.
Oh, my gosh.
Medicaid, is that affected?
I gave you a list of examples: Social Security, Medicare, welfare benefits, food stamps that will not be impacted by this federal pause. I can get you the full list after this briefing from the Office of Management and Budget. But I do want to address the cost cutting. Because that's certainly very important, and cutting the cost of living in this country. President Trump has taken historic action over the past week to do that. He actually signed a memorandum to deliver emergency price relief for American families, which took a number of actions. I can walk you through those. He also repealed many onerous Biden administration regulations. We know over the past 4 years, American households has been essentially taxed $55,000 in regulations from the previous administration. President Trump, with the swipe of his pen, rescinded those, which will ultimately put more money back in the pockets of the American people. So deregulation is a big deal. And then when it comes to energy, I mean, the president signed an executive order to declare a national energy emergency here at home, which is going to make America energy dominant. We know that energy is one of the #1 drivers of inflation. And so that's why the president wants to increase our energy supply to bring down costs for Americans. The Trump energy boom is incoming, and Americans can expect that.
Okay, so there's several other examples in this tab, but I'm going to stop there. But also this one clip of her saying that all illegal immigrants are criminal. White House Press Secretary Karoline Levitt said all illegal immigrants are criminals as they broke. What the hell happened there? What? No. All illegal immigrants are criminals as they broke U.S. immigration laws. During Levitt's first press conference, a reporter asked the new press secretary how many of the 3,500 illegal migrants arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement since President Donald Trump's January 20 inauguration have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally, which is a dumbass question. Here it goes.
Beast mode.
3, 2, 1.
Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws, and therefore they are criminals.
Okay, I didn't expect that part of the video, but there you go. There you go. All right. Not getting to as much. That's the same clip there, but that's without the beast mode part. And we did the Jake Tapper one. Let's see. Tom Homan talking about Joy Reid. This is funny. You can watch this one yourself. I actually got to call it a day. But there's a whole bunch of other videos on here. By the way, the one that I must get to, though, is this one. Well, there's this one here. Because there are a lot of people who have been making fun of President Trump, talking about the California wildfires and whatnot. And they were saying, oh, yeah, he's so stupid. He's saying that there's a giant spigot that you could just turn on and bring more water to Southern California. And I found this particular clip very interesting, and this I'm sure you will too, because I did not know this. So this is your informational clip for the day, and then we're going to get the hell out of Dodge.
So you know how all the journalists and the Democrats, when President Trump has been talking about the water situation here in California,
yes.
and he talks about a giant spigot that you can turn to send more water from the north to the south.
Oh, he's such an idiot.
What's he talking about? He doesn't understand. There's no giant spigot. Well, there is actually, and I'm standing right in front of it. There it is, over my shoulder. It's called the C.W. Bill Jones Pumping Station, federally owned. Let's give it a simpler name. That is the Trump pump. And when he was president the first time around, President Trump ordered more water to be pumped from this pumping station, which has 6 giant pumps that lift up water from the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta and sends it south in the Delta-Mendota Canal. And President Trump ordered more water to be pumped here and sent south. So just up that road where I was at the Trump pump, you come to this. It's the entrance to the Harvey O. Banks Delta Pumping Plant, which is part of the state water project. You could think of this as Gavin's pump. This sends water into the California Aqueduct, which is the state-owned part of the system. And guess what happened the last time when President Trump said more water should be sent into the federal system? California said less water should be sent into the California Aqueduct through these pumps here. They retaliated by restricting the amount of water. Unbelievable. Why do they do that? Exactly
because of the Delta smelt.
Let's hope this time they have more common sense. And when President Trump orders more water to be sent through the federal Delta-Mendota Canal, the jokers in charge of California don't send less water through the Gavin pump here at the Banks Pumping.
By the way, the Delta smelt is not native to California either, but they're going to protect it anyway. So there you go. I think that's a great video. There's also one here from talking about how there's also a trend on TikTok and other places saying that Donald Trump ended the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity, whatever commission, which he did not. He did end one executive order, but I don't have time to play this video. So there you go. Some of the articles that I have open, though: ICE takes murderers into custody after Massachusetts paroles them from prison. So good. ICE is taking care of that. Also in the Daily Caller, Dems are calling for felony charges against a Democrat is calling for felony charges against officials who are plotting against ICE raids. Democratic councilman called on the Trump administration's Tuesday during a Newsmax segment to levy criminal charges against Democratic officials who oppose immigration and customs enforcement operations. Amid widespread ICE raids targeting undocumented immigrants with criminal records, Democratic New York City Council member Robert Holden voiced support for ICE's crackdown and accused fellow Democrats of plotting against Trump and actively seeking to hinder law enforcement efforts. So good. There's video in the article in Breitbart. Apparently, a meeting with Karen Bass to help victims of LA fires begins with an attack on ICE. Mayor Bass joined a community meeting about the recent LA fires on Tuesday that opened with a denunciation of immigration and custom enforcement, ICE, which had nothing to do with the natural disaster. So I think there's video on that too. Let's see.
The politicization of pain in our communities is immoral. Capitalizing off, I will say it again.
What?
The politicization of pain in our communities is immoral.
Okay. How about getting some water down there, though?
Attempting to capitalize off the misery of fire survivors is unjust. The very definition of injustice.
Okay, that's a good point.
Now is not a time for tearing down leadership. What we build today and in the years ahead.
Okay, this is not the part that they're talking about, but you can read the article yourself. Also, apparently, the DHS secretary hits New York to get dirt bags off the street. Kristi Noem joined on some of the ICE raids in New York City. Apparently. She tweeted this. I'm 7 a.m. in New York City getting the dirt bags off the streets. She's going to piss off some people, but she looks very cute doing it. And finally, in American greatness, apparently multiple whistleblower says that multiple FBI agents called in sick with blue flu to avoid helping ICE round up criminals, aliens in Chicago. A lot of people calling in sick because they didn't want to support the effort. So more information on that. The other thing I have today, I have the aggregator out today because I didn't open a bunch of articles. So if you want to find more stuff, you will certainly find that in the links today. So that's it, guys. I got to go. Let me close. Oh, no, I didn't mean to close that one. Oh, well. Happy hump day, and you all have a wonderful day. Here are today's links. Give me a second here. There we go. Copy and paste, and there we go. Here's today's links. I'll have them in the description too. Links. And that is all. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on the Morning Night Live. I'll be back tomorrow for FTG Thursday and more. Hope you have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. I got to go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. I know that was abrupt, but, have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.